Guys, your feedback has been awesome, so thank you. And it seems like the question most people want answered is, what can I do right now? This seems to be the most helpful. I've already given you a mental list of things that you can plant right now, and if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do so because it's not too late to get started. But what I haven't talked about, and that you can and should be doing right now, is foraging. If you've looked outside on your lawn, it's probably full of two things: dandelions and the thing we're looking for today, violets. We can see all kinds of things out here. Raspberries, dead nettle. Here's an example of why we want to keep some dandelions in our yard. It's a habitat. And of course, the very thing we're looking for, these beautiful violets. If you ever wonder why they call people who are shy shrinking violets, go foraging for violets and you'll realize they like to hide. They like to hide in the shade and underneath everything else. There's a little ladybug party going on this dandelion. It's adorable. It takes a surprising number of blossoms to get enough to make anything useful out of them, but look at how beautiful they are. And a bonus, found some wild mustard for my sandwich this afternoon. There are several things you can do with your violets once you pick them, but I'm going to do the easiest and funnest thing, which is to make a violet syrup, which you can pour over ice cream, or I like to mix it with vodka. So here we go. Violets are in a jar, waiting for the water to boil. We just put a lid on it and we want to let that sit for 24 hours. Steep away, my beauties. Violets are awesome, partly because they're beautiful and partly because you can't do this wrong. There is no dangerous look-alike to violets. If you know what a violet looks like, you can go ahead and pick it. If you're adventurous and you're not afraid of eating flowers, you can throw the blossoms on top of a salad. Beautiful. You can also candy them, but for me that's too much work for too little payback. They're also medicinal. You can use the flowers and the leaves as a tea or a tincture, and even externally for skin conditions. And if you eat them, the flowers and the leaves are both rich in vitamins A and C and lots of antioxidants. You can dry the leaves and the flowers both to make tea in the winter, and it's really great for any kind of bronchial condition. It's been used for hundreds of years, really, for whooping cough and dry cough and those kinds of things. So we've let this sit for 24 hours, and now all we need to do is, doesn't look very delicious yet. Give it a little stir. Press those flowers a little bit to get out as much of the flower juice as you can. Then we're just going to pour all this delightful violet liquid through a sieve into a small saucepan. You want to give those blossoms a little press like you would a tea bag. Squeeze out what you can to get as much of the liquid into the pan as you can, and you can see it's a beautiful purpley shade. It'll smell a little bit green at this point, but don't worry, we're going to sweeten it up. I feed the leftover violets to my chickens because they love it. Now, whatever size container you used, and we used a 1 pint or 2 cup container, we're going to add that much sugar to this syrup. So it seems like a lot, and it kind of is, but you'll see what a beautiful result you get. So 2 cups of sugar go in, more or less. You just want to stir this over a very low heat until the sugar dissolves, and then add a few drops of lemon juice to maintain the color. No more than 10 drops. Now, let it cool before you judge yourself on your ability to make violet syrup, and do not think that it's going to look like all those beautiful pictures that you see if you went on Pinterest and searched for violet syrup, because it almost never looks that way. The color of your syrup is going to depend exclusively on the color of the violets that you picked, and sometimes they're more purple, sometimes they tend to be kind of faded out from the sun or from age or whatever, so don't worry about that, it still tastes good. So I let this cool all the way so that you can see that mine does not have the lovely violet hue that I hoped for, but it is clarifying and it's still pink. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Tastes flowery, tastes purpley, a little bit like spring in a jar. We got a little bit of water yesterday and we got some more coming, so that dandelion video is gonna have to wait a few days. Meanwhile, do what you can, not what you can't, and you'll find out you can do more than you think you can.